When can you take money out of your Roth IRA? Well, this would assume you've got one. And if you've actually read any of my work, the Make Your Kids Millionaires book, day one, you employ your kids. By day two of their life, they have a Roth IRA. You fund it for 20 years straight. And if all you do is maximize their Roth and invest it properly, you can make them a millionaire. So a Roth is a really big deal, I believe, when you know how to invest, because it has tax-free, tax-deferred benefits for the rest of your life. So when can you start taking that money out? There's three things I want to talk about, is when and how you can actually do the withdrawal from your IRA. And I'm actually going to read almost the legal code of it. The second thing are, what are the rules and how do you avoid any taxation because of either an early or an improper withdrawal? And then last, what exceptions can you use to either borrow or take some money out where you don't have a complete tax consequence? So let's jump in. Get a notepad. Some of you are going to want to take some notes. And let's go straight out. For some of you who don't have a Roth, you want to go to iFlip.com. You can start a free Roth there and fund it and start moving immediately. So you open a personal account under your Social Security number. You open a Roth account. And then for those of you who have a business, you could open an iFlip account for your business. So any extra capital, so you don't just keep making and spending money, you use and invest it into one of the folios. So start there as at least a base to get your accounts moving if you haven't yet. And let's get right to it. So what is the requirements and when can you withdraw from a Roth? So the biggest benefit of the Roth is you can always withdraw your contributions tax-free, penalty-free, because you've already paid the taxes, right? So, and I think that's a huge misunderstanding for a lot of people. They don't think they can take it out. You can take out your original contributions anytime. So if you contribute $6,000 a year for 5 years, $30,000 in total, you can withdraw $30,000 at any time for any reason, no penalties or taxes. Earnings are different, so don't confuse them with your contribution, which is the initial base. Your earnings are what you actually made, so it's the difference in the rules. That might be subject to tax depending on what it was and how you did it. Like the PayPal stockholder, right, put his PayPal stock in. When he cashed out, he made, I think it was hundreds and hundreds of millions, which then had the law changed in 23 and 24 to actually limit and per asset growth within your Roth, or that's going to explode it. Because you can imagine nobody got paid any taxes on that stock transaction from the PayPal person. So he caused law to change and not in the best direction for all of us. And keep track of your contributions. So just know how much you're contributing and then how much of it is gain. So another way to think about it, what's the basis and what is the growth that you had inside of it. Now, how to withdraw without any penalties. Again, you have to meet certain conditions before you withdraw. So follow the 5-year rules, number one. So at least hold the Roth for 5 years before you withdraw earnings tax-free. The 5-year clock starts January 1, the first year you ever made contributions. You have to be 59 and a half to avoid any penalties on the earnings. So you withdraw before 59 and a half, you usually have to pay a 10% penalty on the earnings, not the contribution, the earnings section. And then after 59 and a half, earnings can be withdrawn tax-free as long as the 5-year rule is met. Last, what's the difference between your qualified and non-qualified withdrawals? Qualified, no taxes, no penalties. Non-qualified withdrawals is possible penalties and taxes. And again, that's just going to be on the earnings. So there's the law, there's the rules, that's what you get to do. Now, what are the exceptions with pulling out a withdrawal? As your first time home purchase, you can actually withdraw up to $10,000 penalty free to buy your first home. Has to be used within 120 days for a home purchase. Higher education, you can actually pull out from a Roth penalty free, but taxable for any books, tuition, school, things like that for your spouse or kids. And last, medical or disability exemptions. So you can pull out anything exceeding 7.5 of your adjusted gross income, and unemployment, you need to pay your health premiums. So there are some just clear, it's pretty succinct rules. You can find any of this on the internet, pretty clear. Make sure that you actually are following some good guides. So the folks over at iFlip are who I would lean you to, because you can open a free account for you, your kids. I would start everyone in your family. You don't have to fund them fully yet, but you want to get in the pattern of making sure that you fund them fully every year that you can. Once you get to about 20, 30,000, you may want to consider a self-directed move to more of an opportunity where you can buy real estate, do notes, do more diverse investing strategies and alternative strategies. But right now, while the numbers are low, just go to a folio at iFlip if that's what works for you. Better than a money market, better than a CD. So if you have any questions, go to askloral.com. And while you're here, I want you to subscribe to my channel. Click that notification button. I need you here 5 days a week. You and your kids should be here. This is a family-friendly channel, and you got to start this conversation about money in the household. A Roth is one of the greatest tools. And if you compare it to a 529, you want to pack a Roth for a child, not a 529. 529s are limited in what they can invest in, how you can use them, and the restrictions are getting worse. So I'm not a huge fan of a 529. And those of you that are working to get kids scholarships, that actually is going to affect their ability to, because all that 529 money is going to be right at the forefront, which will limit their amount of getting any other federal funding. So there's a lot to this onion called money, and we're here all the time. AskLoral.com is where you ask questions, make a request. We'll be back tomorrow.